for that?
Yes, I will complete that June the 3rd.
Wonderful. So then you'll definitely want to look forward to that other stipend coming out in the fall then. Let me get to our other, sorry, going on over here, as you can tell. So this next, go ahead.
Lisa, I can get back to you with that information about the Emergent Literacy Micro-Credential.
Yeah, definitely. So this next grant is a pretty big one. It's got a lot of moving parts to it. This one is called the World Class Workforce. Here, the guidance calls it the Emergency Funding Assistance for Early Learning / Child Care Providers American Recovery Plan Act, or ARPA, as we lovingly call it, Supply Building Initiatives. And then the nickname it has been given is World Class Workforce. And what I have up on the screen is guidance that I sent out to everybody previously that tells you every single piece of detailed information that we actually have on this from the Division of Early Learning. Things to know about this grant up front is there are 4 different parts to it. There are parts within those 4 parts. And then the other piece is that all training that is associated with this will not cost you really anything. There may be an upfront cost, but there will be money coming to you to reimburse that cost. The coalition is paying for everything up front for the most part. And all the training at this time has to be completed by June 30th of 2023. This grant has a portion that is for all legally operating childcare providers. And then there's other portions that are only for childcare providers that are contracted with the coalition for either school readiness or VPK. So getting into it, this is the guidance. This is what it looks like. I sent this out already. I will not be using this for a majority of this call. However, if you have questions that you need to go back to, or you want to find out very intricate details about something, I would encourage you to find the email that I sent, and we will probably send it out again. And then you can refer back to that for specific, very specific questions that you have, or our team will do our best to answer that as well. So getting into that, I'm going to pull up something else on my screen right now. If you were on our provider call list this past Wednesday, we went through some documents called decision trees, and I have updated 3 of them. Oh, and this one is corrupt, so that's fun. Let me see if I can get to my Word document on that. We're actually going to go to this one first. So the first portion of the World Class Workforce application is the recruit and train new teachers. And this is a decision tree that we came up with to try to help you determine who is eligible for this grant. So what you're going to do is use these tools that has broken this grant out into the different parts to really determine whether or not you are going to apply for this, or if you're going to apply for any of your staff. This application, you might recall the software web author that we sent out a link probably 2 weeks ago now for you to go in and register your site for the web author account. We are in the process, if you haven't gotten your confirmation yet, we're in the process of reviewing all of those applications that have come through. Right now, it's myself and one other staff member that is reviewing all of them. So we are trying to get through them and certify everybody that has applied for a web author account. And what goes into that is we have to make sure you are a legal operating provider in Marion County. This particular grant is not for our out-of-county providers. So you would have to apply with your home county if you are an out-of-county provider. Even if you're contracted with us, you would want to go through your home county for this particular grant. You can still use the tools that we created to help you with out-of-county applications, but you would have to go with your home county. So for the first part, this is the recruit and train new teachers decision tree. So basically you're going to go through and answer these questions for yourself, and it will tell you what to do if your answers are a certain way. So the first question for this is for the recruitment bonus portion. Do I have new staff who I hired on or after July 1st of 2022? If your answer is yes, I would encourage you to go ahead and list those teachers here. You might have to add a few more lines down there if you're a large center. These are teachers that are still with you, by the way. So you're going to list their names here. If you check no, then they're not eligible. You don't have any staff that are eligible for this entire grant. You can close out this little decision tree and move forward. If
We
you
do
checked yes, I do have a question. Okay, go ahead.
Mhm. Will a rehire be considered a new employee?
Only if they were rehired after on or after July 1st,
Of 2022.
2022, yes. So if you have teachers that are listed up here, you're going to go down to question 2. Do I have a completed background screening and can I prove 120 hours of employment for each teacher listed above? If the answer is yes, then in your WebAuthor account, after we certify you, you are going to create basically it's a profile for each teacher within your WebAuthor account. And each teacher, you're going to have, there's a little application that you're going to complete for this. And then there is, you're going to want to work with your teachers on this. You're going to upload their background screening and the proof of 120 hours of employment. So examples of that could be a verification of employment that you have completed on their behalf. It could be check stubs that shows the hours with the employee's name on it and how many hours they've worked, computing up to 120 hours, okay? If you do not have that information and you check no, you wouldn't be eligible to claim any of those funds on behalf of your teachers. Now, if they pay for their background screening or for some reason you don't have a copy of it, but you know that they have worked the 120 hours and they have the cleared background screening, you know, work with them and see if you can get it uploaded. Payments for this portion of the grant go directly to the teachers, which is why they need their own WebAuthor profile, basically within your site profile. Let me pause and see if there's any questions for the recruitment bonus portion.
And the verification of employment, would it be the same letter that you were using in the previous grant?
I think you could use that because the way we're creating it is to cover basically all the bases of information that we need. So yes, you could use that.
Okay. I'm thinking about my family home childcare people out there.
Absolutely. All right, moving down to the health and safety bonus. So if you have teachers listed up here, then you did this part. Now you're coming down to the health and safety portion. Of the teachers listed above, did any complete their DCF hours, their 40 clock hours, or did they take the collaboration trainings that are offered to our school readiness providers on or after July 1st of 2022? If the answer is yes, then they're eligible for another $500 stipend. And that also would be an application through WebAuthor for that teacher. And you would basically upload the backup documentation, which in this case would be the certificates completing or the transcript showing the completion of those hours. If the answer is no, then that particular teacher would not be eligible for the health and safety bonus. Do I have any questions about that one? That was pretty quick.
I'm giving everybody a minute to type. So far, no.
Okay. So the next portion of this particular grant for any of these teachers that you listed at the top of this form, are they interested in a $600 bonus for enrolling in an infant toddler intro track or the pre-K intro track of training through Teachstone in class? So if they're interested in participating in either one of those, if the answer is yes, then you're going to do the application for this particular portion in WebAuthor. And then we're going to go down to the next page to learn about how to register for these Teachstone trainings.
We do have a question.
Okay.
So the question is, they are a new hire to me, but had trainings from a prior location. Is that okay?
It depends. And the reason it depends is if the trainings were taken on or after July 1st, 2022, yes, that's okay, and they can apply for that. If they were taken prior to that, they would not be eligible as a new hire to you.
Okay.
So going into training or how to register for training. So for all of the Teachstone related trainings, every person that has an interest in taking any of those classes needs a Teachstone account. And then for certain trainings within the Teachstone library, these are typically the self-paced trainings that you can do at your own pace and on your own time. You need a product key. In order to get those, you're going to send an email to training@elc-marion.org and include the following information. You're going to include the full name of the teacher or the staff member. You're going to include your site name so that we know where they're currently employed. You're going to include their personal email address, and the teacher will receive a request to that email that you include that will prompt them to create a password so that they can access their Teachstone account. And from there, we need the actual name of the training that they want to take through Teachstone and the age level, because certain trainings are geared towards infant or toddler or pre-K. So we need those 5 pieces of information for each teacher that you're requesting a Teachstone subscription for or any product keys. Now we have a lot of people that already have Teachstone accounts, and Lily has already begun giving out product keys. So that is to actually get access to the Teachstone website. The other piece, there are some trainings that are facilitated, even if they're virtual. They're facilitated through a live teacher, a facilitator who's walking the staff members through the training course and the objectives. And there are some that are actually occurring in person, such as the MMCI, or it's called class group coaching. We used to call it MMCI, so people interchange them now. But class group
I'm
coaching.
so proud of you.
Thanks. And some of those you can find. Lily has put a lot of work into updating our calendar on the ELC website, and you can click on the calendar in order to find the training that you're interested in. And in there are different links, or you can just go to our website to the provider tab at the top where it says professional development, and you can go down the list of trainings that we have available and register that way. So to break that down again, if you're taking any Teachstone courses or any of your staff are taking any, each person needs their own Teachstone account. And for each of the trainings that you're interested in within the Teachstone library, you need a product key for self-paced courses and for some of the facilitated courses. Well, not for the facilitated courses, I'm sorry, just for the self-paced courses. There are some pieces that are required within this grant that are free in your Teachstone account, such as the learnabouts. Then for face-to-face and facilitated trainings, you will need to register for those trainings through our website. Let me pause and see if we have any questions.
Can you scroll down so they can see the step 2 instructions a little bit? There you go.
Perfect.
And
after today, I will send these out to everybody. I want to do one last look through, and then we're going to blast out these decision trees so that you can start using them with your team. So moving down, when we talked about the intro courses, here are the 2 sets of courses that a teacher can choose to take. Okay, and toddler track includes all of these different courses and pays out a stipend of $600 once completed. Now, this series of trainings incorporates both self-paced online, which you need the product key and the Teachstone subscription for, and also facilitated trainings, which you're going to register for at the Coalition website. So they would be taking all of these courses. Now this one right here, the Thinking and Thriving, we're offering it 4 different times, and one of them is Spanish. You only need to take it 1 time. Okay.
And the My Teachstone Learn About class videos, that's the one that does not require a product key. That's the one that'll be through the learning resources. And I can there'll be instructions whenever you received your subscription for that. And my team is going to be recommending that professional development when they create the new subscription, according to the age level that you will be doing.
Awesome. So
So
there's that.
if you,
Oh.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Just so if you have somebody that wants to do more than one of these, they get $600 a piece, or they can only choose one.
They would choose one in this
Okay.
category.
Thank
So it
you.
would be one track. And it's, so what I want to really implore into everybody is that the purpose of this entire grant is to help improve the quality of the interactions between your teaching staff and the students, the children that are in your care. So the ultimate goal is to see your class scores improve and to see your teachers have a lot of confidence in their daily routines within your classrooms and working through their curriculum and feeling really confident using when an observer comes in the classroom, they're like, I got this, you know, I'm not worried anymore. Bring that 2-week window on, you know, I don't need to wait, just bring it on. Let's see how I do. And so these resources are all built for specific categories. So this top one is for your infant and toddler teachers. So teachers going up to age 3, basically, well, through age 2, this is going to be their focus. It's really going to hone in on their skills. Then for your preschool teachers, so basically 3 to school age, these are the 2 courses, and the hours, the commitment hours, I think there's like a half-hour difference between the 2. So while this one is made up of a bunch of different trainings, this particular set down here is really specific, and they're longer trainings for the preschool
Now,
teachers.
is this only for staff hired after or on July 1st, 2022?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Is this only for new hire staff that were
Yes.
hired on or after July
Yes.
1st, 2022?
Yes, this is under the recruitment portion of the World Class Workforce Grant.
So if you have people that were hired prior to July 1st of 2022,
They would
They
not
would
be
not-
eligible for this.
okay.
Nope. Do we have any more questions about this? Okay, I'm going to go to our next one, which is the upskill directors portion. Upskill directors decision tree is basically, you're going to use this one. If you are a director, you do have to be acting in the director capacity at your site. This is not for the staff that just have the director's credential, but they're not utilizing it to act in that capacity. It could be for your assistant director that takes over when the main director is out. But here is your questions. Am I a director at my childcare facility acting in the capacity? If the answer is yes, keep going. If the answer is no, then you would not be eligible for this particular grant. Did I see a question pop up?
No.
Okay. If you said yes, then we're going to encourage you through this decision tree to really look and see what trainings have you already taken. Have you taken any of these trainings? Because if you did, then you're already partway through the ability to participate in this grant and receive funding directly to you. So in WebAuthor, under your site's account, you're going to go ahead and create your own profile in there so that you can start tracking and uploading your own certificates for training. But here, if you took any of these classes, these courses right here all lend to either package A or package B in the upskill director courses that we have available. So if you said yes, you're going to figure out which classes you took, and then you can skip on down to question number 4 if you need any additional courses. If you said no to this, you're going to come down to question 3. Am I willing to take these courses to earn a bonus? So you might want to study and see on page 3 and to see what courses are there. If you're willing to take them, remember they have to be done by June 30th. If you're not willing to do it, then this worksheet has done its job and help you make the decision as to whether you're able to fit it in. Okay. So going down to question 4, if you finished any of the courses here, you're going to upload them to WebAuthor, and then you're going to double check and make sure that you had all the pieces in either package A or package B. If you're missing anything, you're going to want to go ahead and take that course so that you can get your stipend. If you have decided, yes, I really want to participate in this, then you're going to go down to, again, this is a repeat of what you just saw. This is the same registration process, getting your Teachstone account, getting those product keys as needed, and then registering for the different courses in here. So I'm going to go down to page 3, and these are the different packages. So you would have to take all either in package A or package B for a stipend of $750. And the hours are, I think they're like a half-hour difference between the 2 different packages. So let me pause and see if we have any questions for that.
And this is for directors only, right?
This is for directors only. They must be acting in the capacity of a director where they are working.
Okay. That's all I have for questions.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the next section, which is the child success. This particular grant, Child Success grants, and the Class Observer Director Training grant, they fall under the same category. Your site must have a class score below 5 to participate in this particular grant. So the decision tree is, does my site have a class score below 5? If the answer is yes, then you're going to proceed to the next question. If it is no, then you are not eligible for this particular grant, and you can close this one and move on. I think I saw a question pop up.
Yes, it says I have some under 18 staff members for teacher aides and cleaning support. Would they qualify to be part of this?
If they are in the capacity of an instructor, then yes. If they are taking these classes, if you consider them instructional staff, then yes.
And I'm going to have to get a little bit more clarification on this other one before I can share it.
Okay. I'm going to let you do that. I'm going to keep going through this because unfortunately my time is running out.
Yes, ma'am.
All of my teaching staff and directors willing to participate in the required training, and the trainings are listed on page 3. So with this particular grant, you do have to have all of your staff, including your director, participate in this. We do recognize that there may be some staff attrition, meaning that you might lose some staff. If that loss of staff is below 20% of your entire instructional workforce, we're not going to ask any questions. If it's more than 20%, then we're going to look at a case-by-case basis to see what's going on and how we can support you through this to ensure that your staff all get their stipend. Because again, this is an individual, once you go through this, each teacher that is listed in your application is going to have their own little profile within your WebAuthor, and each teacher is going to get paid their own check directly to them or direct deposit directly to them for participation and completion of this grant. So if you decide that you guys are all in, there is a specified grant, and I'm going to really roll down. This page 2 is just the same directions we talked about before of how to get your Teachstone subscriptions. And the Child Success grants are made up of 2 different segments. You can participate in 1, you can participate in 2, you can participate in both. So you don't, there's no requirement to do all of it. There is a requirement to complete whichever one you commit to. So both of these are, this is 26 hours of training, and I can't do the math off the top of my head. I believe this is also 26 hours of training. These segments, so your site would have to commit to both of these if you're doing segment 1, including your director. If you're doing, and each teacher will make $500 once they complete it, each director will make $600. If you participate in segment 2, it's the same. I didn't put it down here because I needed it to be I needed it to fit on the page. And I'm sorry, I have to pause for just a second, you all. So Lily, if you can figure out that question, let me pause for just a moment.
I have not received clarification on the question, but I do want to reiterate for those of you that have joined us late, this is being recorded, so it will be made available through YouTube, and the documentation will be emailed out to our providers by Monday at the latest, just in case anybody's missed anything. And the child,
Thank you for pausing for me. I'm sorry, Lily, were you able to get any clarification on that question?
no.
Okay.
So we'll
It's
just
okay.
keep going. But I did
Yep.
let them know, for those who came on late, that this is being recorded to be made available later, and documentation will be emailed out.
Yes, I'm going to follow up with all this documentation and clean it up just a little bit more, because I think that this is a little more clear than the original schedule that we sent out for you, and it's a lot easier, I think, to navigate through. At least that is the feedback that I've gotten on it. So to carry on with the class success grants, if your site chooses to participate in segment 1, they would have to take both of these courses. Or if you decide to do segment 2, or you can do both, then you would have to take and participate in all of these courses. So this instructional support essentials training for teachers is a facilitated virtual training, which means that you would need to register for that training. So I think I'm going to clarify that just a little bit more in here before we send it out. The ones that say DEL, I'm going to ask Lily to help me talk about what that means.
Not a problem. So
Thank you.
instructional support strategies for coaches, and also the feedback training for coaches, is being presented by the Division of Early Learning. What we did for you guys is, on our calendar on the website at elc-marion.org, we, on the days that those trainings are available, we have the registration link for you to click on, so that you can go ahead and register for the day that works for you. And when you click on that registration link, it takes you straight to the DEL site where it allows you to register for that course.
Thank you, Lily. And I think what I'm going to do with that in this, before I send it out, I will probably go ahead and put the link in here so that you can see it and you can get right to it, so that you don't have to go to other places to find it. It'll be a link probably back to our calendar so that you can register. Do we have any questions about the child success grants for our providers that are scoring lower than a 5 on their class scores? The other piece that has to go with this one is the class observer director training. So this is to allow sites that have a class score below 5 to have an on-site class observer at their whim, if you will. So you have the ability for free to come and take this course with certified staff. Lily is one of our trainers. She just finished a toddler class observer training recently. And so this series of questions actually should help drive you to whether you want to participate or not. So with this series, did my director participate in upskill director trainings? If you did, you would not be eligible to participate in this. So if it's yes, then no further action needed. You're not actually eligible for it. And then, is my director interested in becoming a class observer? Now, there are some great benefits to becoming a class observer. And I think we have a question.
Can you scroll down? Is it on the, because we're still on segment 2. I didn't know if there was.
You're still on segment 2?
That's what we're seeing on the screen.
Oh, on the screen. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Do you see class observer director training on the top of the screen? No.
Nope.
I'm wondering if my screen froze. Let's see. How about now?
Now I do.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, guys. So on your screen, you should have those two questions that I just kind of covered with you. Did my director participate in upskill director training? If yes, they cannot do this one. If no, then they can answer the next question. Are they interested in becoming a class observer? If yes, then on pages 2, which is this one, it tells you how to get your Teachstone subscription, because you will need that eventually. And then on page 4,
There we
it
go.
about the different classes that are available. So Lily just finished the toddler observer training that was full. That has already been completed. So unfortunately, this one is no longer an option right now. But pre-K is coming up in June, and so is the class infant observer training, and it's a hybrid. So there's one day of in-person training scheduled for June 29th, and there is a day 2, which I feel like I have backwards. Day 2 is probably going to happen before June 29th, and it should be online. So this time, if you're interested in becoming an observer, and the benefit to having an observer on site is you can train your staff. You can really give feedback when you're doing mock observations in the classroom. You can, if you're an observer, you can help other sites as well. You get the inside secrets to the class tool, if you will, and you really become certified and become a pro at using that tool. It's a really good help for helping your teachers on site.
And the caveat to this is, do they have to be a certified observer to get the stipend?
They do not have to be certified. You don't have to take the exams. You just have to go through the training classes, and you get the stipend of $1,200.
This
And you
grant
can do all of them if you want.
hurt so bad. Yeah.
Oh, so it's
You-
like a single strip.
Well, yeah. Well,
Please
I'll
mute
have them.
yourself
Okay,
as you are
Emily,
on
I'm
the
gonna mute
recording.
you.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna, there you go.
Thank you.
Okay, question is, why is it available for only those with a class score under 5?
So the real reason, so it's available, you can take it, it just wouldn't be free for you to take. You would want to use some of your grant dollars to take the class if your class score is below 5. The purpose, remember, going back to the ultimate purpose of this grant, is to increase the quality in your site. And we know pretty much all of the quality team here at the coalition are certified observers or past certified observers, me. And we do know the value of having the inside training on that. So for sites that are scoring less than a 5, the state DEL has decided to make this observer director training available. Part of it is there is minimal seats available in each training. We can only train a maximum of 15 people, and that's a lot in one observer training because it's a full 3 days of training. So it's very necessary to have, a cohort that can interact with your trainer and your instructor so that they get the best understanding of the tool. And I just saw a question.
Does this include VPK only with class scores under 5 for this year?
So I'm going to say yes, because what we have decided to use VPK only class scores, even though they are not considered a composite score, but we're using those for our VPK only providers to allow them to apply for certain portions of this grant. As otherwise you would be treated as if you didn't have a class score. So in this case, this would be, if you don't have a class score, if you have a class score below 5, a composite score, then the Child Success Grant and the Class Observer Director Training would be where you would qualify to participate in this grant. So answering the other person's question that asked why below 5, because the DEL considers those providers to be scoring 5 and above to already be achieving that higher quality interaction with between their staff and their students. So they want to afford you the last opportunity that I'm going to talk about, which is the Continuous Quality Improvement Grant, which has a different set.
And last question, if they do the upskill directors, can they do the observer director training?
No, they cannot. So if you participate in the, and that's that first question, I hope you can still see it on your screen. The first question, did my director participate in the upskill director trainings? If they did, then they would not be eligible to participate in this. If they did not, then they would be eligible.
And that's it for questions.
Awesome. Okay, for the last part of our training, we're going to talk about those providers that have scored, and I do not have a decision tree for this one. We're going to talk about those providers that have scored a 5 and above. And I'm going to pull this. No, this is not what I want to pull.
This
I'm
is
going to
so
pull up the
fantastic.
application.
I love this one.
The CQI grant, or a Continuous Quality Improvement Grant, is for our providers who scored a 5 or above on their, bear with me so I can pull up what I want to pull up. I have so many things open on my screen right now. Watch how far I have to go to get here, guys. So this grant, basically, if you scored a 5 or above, you received an email from me probably about 2 weeks ago that gave instructions for what to do next. Let me find my piece here.
I have to say, I've never had the PD podcast so well attended. I really love having you guys.
You're welcome. Let's see. We have so many different pieces that we've worked on for this. You know what? There it is right there. Okay. So with this grant, this is a heavy duty one, and this is going to take probably more of your research and your brain cells to put this all together for all of your staff. The caveat with this one is, just like with the Child Success Grants, your director has to participate in 24 hours of training along with your staff. You do have to be contracted with the coalition to participate in this, and there's a maximum of $19,800 that your site can earn through participating in this grant. There are a couple of pieces to this. One is that this one is also going to be an application that you're going to upload to WebAuthor, and each one of your teachers will have to have their profile, well, we'll have to have backup documentation of the training that each one of your teachers has participated in. If you were on our call on Wednesday, our provider meeting, the question was brought up, can we count trainings that happened before July 1st of 2022? As of right now, I cannot count anything that happened prior to then for this grant. So it's all training that you participated or your staff participated in from July 1st, 2022 through now, okay? So let's get into it. This one, you have to write a training plan, and that's what you should see on your screen. Does everybody see something that says Continuous Quality Improvement Grant Provider Application?
Yes.
Perfect. So there is some instructions, the purpose of the grant listed, and have the opportunity. You're applying for funding to develop and implement a program to support effective interactions and/or strengthen business and leadership practices and/or support child assessments and screening with reliability and/or support other local priorities. All in all, you can basically use these funds to go back into your business for any purpose, to go into any of these pieces right here. So it can be to support your teachers. You can pay them a bonus for participating in all this training. You can buy materials for classrooms that you've been needing. You can pay for additional training. There are lots of opportunities out there There's a list of vendors that I sent out with the last email. I sent the email out only to our providers that scored a 5 and above with this CQI information in it. There was a vendor listing in there. You can actually purchase packages of trainings for you and your team out of this funding. So basically what's going to happen is you're going to go through here, you're going to fill out your provider information. See anything familiar here? Provider ID, who the director is, the email and the phone number of your contact. If there is an owner that needs to be directly involved, then put that person on here, or a different contact other than the director, put that person here, along with their phone number and contact email address if it's different than above. Eligibility criteria, you're going to need to know your class observation date and your composite score. For VPK only, you're going to put your VPK only score right in there. Training plan. So we need a narrative of how you plan or have completed the trainings that are listed in this in this training plan, basically. So the narrative should include the priorities, like what are you focusing on as far as trainings go, and what is it that what are your weekly goals? What are your planned outcomes? What do you hope to achieve by having your staff go through these trainings? This is a good amount of money that you can apply for, $19,800 on top of all the other grants that we have made eligible to you over the past couple of years. We are, we're hoping that you will apply for this money and use it to really improve the quality and to support your team. So here, and I do have some providers that are needing to use multiple pages. Some of them are printing this out or creating a course description of 24 hours of training for each of their staff, because we are allowing you to use trainings that you've already attended from July 1st, 2022 up until now, or through June 30th of this year. So the course title would go here. Who gave you the course? Was it DCF? Was it Bertelsen Learning? Was it Discount School Supply, or anybody else? College of Central Florida. The course description would go here. The training format, how did it occur? Was it live coaching? Was it a live instruction, meaning in person? Was it virtual coaching? Was it a virtual course? How much did it cost? And what were the hours? So for each training that each of your staff that you want to count towards this training plan must be outlined here. Let me pause and see if we have any questions.
Okay, we have a couple of questions. If someone already has a course on our list, can they take an equivalent course?
I don't know what that means.
Can we get a
On
little
which-
more clarification, Lisa? And then I have another question. Will their transcript cover that area?
Yes, but they have to be, so DEL is requiring us to have full applications listed. So you would have to list them out, and then your backup documentation, especially if the courses have already been taken since July 1st of 2022, that would cover that certificate portion. So you can upload it to WebAuthor, and then we can cut the check to you.
And do the courses all have to be the same vendor?
No, they do not. That was one thing. And if there's anybody listening from another county, please understand that coalitions are doing this different ways, and the ways they're choosing to do it are fine. So some coalitions are requiring that entire sites take the same courses so that everybody has the same training under their belt. We had a lot of extensive discussion about this and decided that we feel like each individual teacher at each site may have a different opportunity that they need training on, or a different way that they need support. So by allowing you to put together your own training plan, each teacher might have, that's why I'm telling you, you could copy this page for each teacher, and each teacher might have their own set of 24 hours of training that they have either already completed since July 1st of 2022 up until now, or are enrolling in now. Remember, all training has to be completed by June 30th of 2023.
Okay, so we did get some clarification on the previous comment. And that comment was, if someone already has a course on our list, can they take an equivalent course? And that continues by saying, if our training plan has a course, for example, new VPK literacy courses, since subs may go to VPK also, can they take an equivalent if they already have the course?
Yes, but that equivalent must be listed on this course description as the title. And the title to the course must be listed. So
Okay.
any training that you are wanting to claim as part of this training plan has to be listed out individually on here.
All right. And no worries, Emily. She has a question.
Okay.
She received a quote from Discount School Supply, which I believe was one of the vendors that you emailed about.
Absolutely. Yep.
It was a bit pricey, but she wants to know if she can submit it with the plan and then wait for the funding to start the training.
So I'm going to say, be careful with that. And here's why I'm going to say that to you. Once you submit your plan and we can go through it and say, yes, it all looks great to us, we have 30 days or less to actually get you your check before you finish your training. So you're going to have, you might have a cost up front, but you will be reimbursed based on your budget, which we're going to get to in just a minute. You will be reimbursed for that. You'll have your check in hand before you guys are even finished with your trainings, unless some of you have already finished your entire 24 hours that you're putting in your plan. So I'm going to say be careful with starting it, with waiting to start it until you get money in hand from us, because you have to have these courses done by June 30th.
How long would it take you to approve these plans once they're submitted?
So we are in the process of hiring some temporary staff. You all know, I believe by now, this is a huge undertaking, both on your part and on the part of our staff. There are 150 childcare providers in Marion County, and there are just a few ELC staff. So we're actually hiring temps right now. We had an interview yesterday and an interview today to help us process through these. So while I can't give you a deadline, a drop dead deadline, we do understand that you need the approval so that you can move forward ASAP. And we'll do the very best we can to process you through quickly.
Couple of thank yous.
You're welcome.
No questions.
Okay, so at the bottom of page 2, you're going to see a training plan start date. I'm going to encourage you to put July 1st, 2022, and the training plan end date to be June 30th, 2023.
Oh, we do have a question.
We do have a question. Go ahead.
What happens if a staff member does not complete the course?
That's a great question. So just like with the Child Success Grants, all of your staff have to participate. If a person who is listed, and actually that's a great segue to page 3 of this application, you're going to list the name of your program director or directors who will attend the training, as well as the names and the position of the staff that are participating. If that staff member does not finish their courses, and they are still employed with you, we will ask you to pay back a portion of your money. And what that looks like is basically, when we look at your budget, that person would not be eligible for any stipend that you put in your budget, which we'll get to. It's on the next page of this. And you are going to receive the money for this directly. Providers will get this money, and then if you choose in your budget to give a stipend to your staff, you will be responsible for paying that directly to them. In a particular circumstance, if you have, let's say, 10 staff on here and you ask for $1,000, I'm making it really easy for math purposes, but if one person out of the 10 doesn't complete it, we're going to ask you to pay us back 1/10 of your money that you received. So it's going to be really important that before you choose to participate in this on behalf of your staff, that you really have that open, courageous conversation with your staff members to say, I need everybody's buy-in to benefit our site together. So I would also encourage you to really look at the stipend capabilities with this money. Are you able to pay your teachers for training? Are you able to really give them a little boost up to say thank you for going through all this with us and sticking around? So yeah, we are going to look at collecting back funds from you if you've already been paid. And nobody wants to be in that position. Now, the second part of that is if you lose a staff member, meaning that they're no longer employed with you, 20% of that we're not going to look at. We're going to say, okay, we understand attrition. If you lose more than 20% of your staff that are participating in this grant, we are going to adjust your funding. We're going to ask you to return a portion of that based on how many additional staff you lost. I'm pausing just in case there are questions popping up. Because talking about money does bring a lot of questions.
So there are no questions at this time. Oh, wait. Haha, I knew it was coming. If you replace the lost staff, then what happens? I'm not sure replacing them is an option.
I don't, so here's the thing. We're asking you to do a lot in a short period of time. So if you lose a staff member and you want to replace them in here, that's great, but they're not going to be on your application, so they're not going to count towards any additional money. They're not going to have to get the training done in the specific time frame. We're not going to ask you to replace anybody on this application. Once you get it done and you have committed your site and your staff to this training plan, then that is that. So we're not going to ask you to replace anybody. And really we're trying to, hopefully in this short period of time, there will be enough incentive with the workforce initiative portion we talked about at the beginning of this call and this to really, get them on board to work together with you.
Tell you what, if you're willing to pay me $1,000 to do a training, I'll do it, E. I'll stay late.
I'm glad to hear that. Keep that in mind if we ever get this opportunity. So
there is a question. I have
Okay,
a
go
part-time front desk employee. Do we need to add them to this training? A part-time front desk employee?
Only if they are instructional staff. If you ever use them as a sub or a floater or anything like that, I would say yes. If you do not and they are a front desk employee, that you can leave them off of here because they're not working and interacting. They're not contributing to your class score. I mean, they're important, but they're not contributing to your class score. Okay, so in front of you is the supports portion of this application. This is very important. You need to give a budget line item of how you are going to request your money. What I will tell you is if out of $19,800, you only request $100, that is the max we would be able to pay you for this. So for those of you that heard me in the beginning of this call, at the beginning of the application, there are different components that you can invest this money into. And the budget line item should be, so for example, you might say you're going to give stipends to your staff. So here it's going to say stipend. The description is going to be a monetary bonus to staff participating in training, completing training. And this is going to be the amount that you're going to give out to your team. So if you have 10 staff and you want to give them all a $100 bonus, it's going to be $1,000 right here in this. And so next, it's going to be the next thing that you're going to invest your money in, and so on and so forth. So it might be classroom materials. And here it's going to be just some examples of what you're going to buy. Maybe it's dramatic play or a new set of blocks. And over here, it might be $2,500 that you're going to invest back into that. So you're going to create your own budget over here. What I will tell you is while we have not been given any guidance on monitoring of this, those of you that have been through the ARPA grants with us, round 1 and round 2, you know that we have to monitor and that we are asking you to justify your budget. So please keep very accurate records. And there may be a time in the future where we say, okay, Lily's lovely lions, I'm going to need you to give us a copy of your budget for this grant. So Lily has a new childcare facility called the Lovely Lions. So I'm going to be very just upfront with you and say whatever you put in this budget, be able to justify it and track. Keep very good accountability records for this. And also, you know, really look at how much one of these might be you're purchasing your training from Discount School Supply. So if it's $8,000, that's going to be $8,000 out of your $19,800 that you're going to use towards training for your staff. So
you're
go ahead.
saying I'm going to have to keep a receipt for all this stuff?
Yeah, a receipt, a file. You're going to have to justify
What?
the invoice and the payment out that you made. So yes, please keep this. These are federal dollars, and so they are taxable as well. So keep that in
I'm
mind.
going to have to pay taxes on this too?
Absolutely. You know, Big Brother wants
Man.
their cut.
That's
So
it.
the
I'm going back to the ELC.
Oh, okay. You still have to pay taxes there, just saying. But here with this, so part of this is also remember this is voluntary. So if you're like, this is too much, this is not something I'm willing to embark upon, this is something that you don't have to do it, but it is available and it is here for you. The last of the pages is the attestation, which you are used to seeing. And then our staff, as we go through and process and are looking for the backup documentation through WebAuthor, we're going to be looking at this and completing your applications. After we complete your application, we will cut you a check up front for it within 30 days of your application being completed. I would tell you do not wait that long to start your training just so that you're not caught. We have about 45 days, maybe a little bit longer. Yes.
So we do have a question,
Yes.
and I just want to make sure that we confirm this. The class composite score must be 5 or higher, and it is the most recent class composite score at the time that they do submit this application. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. And I just highlighted that for you on the application. Class composite score of 5 or higher. For those of you that are VPK only, it would be your most recent VPK score that you got. Or our other providers, it is your class composite score of your most recent class observation that was done.
Because we have a bunch of people who are getting their observations done right now.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, can we use the funds to buy new playground equipment?
Yes. And so I would say that falls under supporting effective interactions, because you have to have quality materials to have effective interactions with your children, and playground equipment definitely would fall under a quality material. Love that response.
Perfect, she said.
Yes.
But the site still has to do the training too, though, right?
Yes. In order to get, yes, you have to complete the training. Now, that is the biggest thing with this one. We'll cut you a check up front if you do not complete the trainings by the deadline of June 30th and submit your backup documentation, because that's the other thing. You have 15 days from the end of your training plan. So you'll have until July 15th to upload into WebAuthor all of your staff's training certificates that support this training plan. And if that doesn't happen, we're going to be asking you to give that money back.
What if the trainings, like for instance, what if the training doesn't end in, I thought it was January or June 30th.
Mm-hmm. They have until
So
July 15th to upload their certificate.
July 15th?
July 15th. They have 15 days from the end of their training application here.
Okay, so they have till July 15th.
Yeah.
So trainings by June 30th, certificates by July 15th. Got it.
Yes.
Thank you, Outdoor Learning for Our Kids. Absolutely.
Very important. And I will tell you, our new CEO, Carrie Thiel, is very passionate about outdoor learning environments, and actually created a community outdoor learning environment in her previous seat up in North Carolina. And it was so well accepted through the community, and they loved it. So yeah, outdoor learning environments, especially in Florida, we're so lucky that we don't have 3 feet of snow right now, you know, or maybe some people don't think we're lucky for that, but here we are. Okay, that
I'm
is
gonna
the
go ahead
end.
and I was going to stop the recording.
Okay, well, you all, thank you for your time today. Thank you for going with us on this journey, and we're still here. This isn't the end all be all. ARPA at elc-marion.org is your email for other questions that you might have. We can set up some appointments with you individually if you're still, after going through all this, are like, I still don't know what to do. It's okay. This is a lot. So thank you, and you guys have a great day.